recipes for Dad actually. I remember Dad having condensed milk sandwiches. Thank you for joining my primary school Key Stage 1, Key Stage 2 Wok Along. Every Wednesday at 12 o'clock during lockdown. Music is Frozen today, playing in the background very quietly, admittedly, but Frozen is playing in the background. Today's recipe is nice and easy for the kids, something a bit sweet, and this is a Hong Kong style eggy bread. Now traditionally it's made with condensed milk, which is like a sweet milk. I couldn't actually get any, but I did say you could use honey, so I'm going to use honey instead. Now one of the things that I didn't tell you that normally goes in it is peanut butter, and again I tried to get some crunchy peanut butter and I just couldn't get any, so I picked up a big tub of smooth peanut butter. So let's just run through the ingredients that we're going to be using. So I've gone and picked up some white bread. It's thick cut, so I've got the thick cut white bread. We have some butter for frying, a couple of eggs which we're going to whisk together in a second, condensed milk or honey, I guess you could use Nutella as well if you wanted to use it, and some peanut butter, which would be quite nice. First thing we're going to do is crack our eggs. So your egg should be in a nice wide bowl or plate, big enough that I can get a slice of bread in. So you can see that my loaf of bread sits in there quite nicely. So the first thing we're going to do is crack the eggs. Remember I showed you how to do this a couple of weeks ago. I shall recap it for you. So we're going to take our eggs and we're going to hold it with our thumb and first finger. My middle finger rests on top as well, and then I've got my ring finger on the egg. So with those 4 fingers I'm going to crack it on the side of the bowl, and then just using my ring finger and my thumb I'm going to pull my fingers apart from each other, and you'll get a cracked egg using one hand. When you've got trays and trays and trays of eggs to do in the kitchen, you learn how to crack very quick. Okay, if you've got a fork or a pair of chopsticks, we're just gonna beat our eggs together and combine the egg yolk with the egg white. At this stage you could even put a pinch of salt in. I'm not going to salt mine today, so it's just a sweet one, but sweet and salty is quite nice actually. So if you're in your kitchen and you want to put a pinch of salt into your egg and beat that in as well, I'm sure it will be delicious. Okay, I'm now going to take 2 slices of this thick cut bread. So on one piece of bread I'm going to spread either my condensed milk or honey. So I'm just going to put a squirt of honey. Now I'm going to go right up to the edges as well. I'm not going to scrimp on this. If we're going to have it, let's make it tasty. So there's about, I'd say, 2 to 3 tablespoons of honey on there. If you're using condensed milk, you need to use about the same. Then we're going to take our peanut butter or Nutella or any other filling that you want, and if you don't, just use the condensed milk, and we're going to paste our peanut butter onto the bread, and again I'm going to go right up to the edges. Okay, now as a child I remember my mum making my dad condensed milk sandwiches, and a lot of the Chinese, like I say, they dip it in the egg and then they fry it off, and then they've got Chinese eggy bread. Really simple. Now we're going to put the peanut butter on top of the condensed milk or honey. I'm going to drop it into the egg. Now I'm going to leave it just one side down at the moment for about 2-3 minutes. I just want that egg to be absorbed into the bread. So go and grab your set spatula or fish slicer. You're going to need one of these, and we're just going to carefully turn the bread over in the egg and just make sure that the bottom gets covered in egg as well. And we're just going to let that sit in there again for about another minute or so, and then we'll start cooking. And that's how easy this one is. We're going to need about a tablespoon and a half of oil or butter. So I'm just going to cut a wedge off the end. Oh, that's a nice big wedge. Okay, I'm going to put that into my frying pan, and then I'm going to stick my frying pan on. Now I'm just going to let this melt. Okay, so if you can see into my pan, my butter is now melted. Now I'm not going to cook this too fast. Whereas before I'd say talk about caramelization and catching it, I'm not going to do that with this one. I think it's nicer when it's just nice and soft and squidgy but cooked still. So I'm going to take my eggy bread and I'm just going to place that into my frying pan. And you know what, I'm not going to waste any eggs, so I'm just going to pour the little bit of leftover egg over the top. there's no point wasting it. And I'll pop this to one side, and I'm just going to slowly let that cook. So I'm on about a medium setting heat now. Right then, so let's just see how this is getting on. I'm just going to use my fingers just carefully on the cold side, and I'm just going to flip it over, and as you can see, look at the colour of that, it's beautiful. So it's like a golden brown, but it's not too crispy at the moment, and I'm just letting that cook through, just gently. You don't need to cook this too fast. Okay, so that side's looking fantastic as well now. I'm just going to flip it over again, just to make sure the middle's nice and warm. And you can see that there's the other side. It's nice and golden brown and lovely. It's going to have that salty butter taste with the egg, and inside's going to be that gooey honey for me, or condensed milk for you, and peanut butter. It's going to be fantastic. Heat off. And I'm just going to place this on the plate. I'm going to cut it from here to here, just to make it look a bit fancy. So I'm just going to carefully cut my sandwich. I'm going to get a little bit more honey, or you can do condensed milk. And I'm just going to drizzle a little bit more honey over the top. And there we have it. Our Hong Kong style eggy bread with condensed milk or honey and peanut butter. I hope you've enjoyed. I hope you have a great day, and I shall see you all later. All right, bye bye.